Yeah, like if you came up and offered me any type of opportunity, I'd be like, no, this isn't going to work.
I'm going to regret this in the documentary. Like we were all kids. We had no ideas.
Yeah.
You're like the picture I would show my kids if I was trying to teach them not to trust salesmen.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm selling though. Crystals.
It doesn't matter.
I'm a 52-year-old guy living in Sedona with a 23-year-old wife. I'm like, come on, you guys want to come back and check out my
You're selling an opportunity.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm selling a lifestyle, and the market's hot. So, think about it. And you guys can't see this, but this shirt goes all the way down to my ankles. It is a onesie. I'm just kidding.
That'd be sick, though.
Would be sick.
I'm just joshing. I know.
I like those onesies that are shorts.
I do too. Like a mini. Hold on, I gotta turn my notifications off here. Is that coming through?
I don't know if you call them a romper.
Yeah, I think they're called
like
rompers.
A male romper, yeah.
Yeah, but they're just shorts instead of pants. All right, welcome back to the definitive rankings of everything, episode 24. We're here with our boy Richie Doyle, aka Roy.
Roy
came in full costume today.
Richie's out. Yeah, Richie's out to lunch. Roy is here and ready to talk criminal activity.
You chose crimes. Any particular reason?
Of course. I think we live in this society with law and order, and it's challenged every day. Sometimes we take our security and our safety for granted. And I think by raising awareness of significant crimes that have happened in the past, we can help people today realize how valuable that security is.
This sounds like a January 6th pump-up speech. That's what that sounded like.
Richie loves the police, for sure.
And now
Where
we take
go
the
one, we go all.
Yeah. And now we take the Capitol.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't a crime. So,
yeah, that's true. Freedom fighting isn't a crime, I think.
What you call a crime, I call liberation.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure people got arrested, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
sure.
a couple.
So maybe it is a crime.
I guess.
Wait for the trial.
We kind of decided to do specific crimes, not just crimes in general.
Right.
Where I think murder would have won. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Murder 1, rape 2.
I think genocide has a spot on the top 3.
Isn't that just murder though?
I guess genocide is just murder, but like
murder.
A lot of murders.
Murder.
Is genocide a crime?
Yeah, it's a war crime.
It's a war crime.
Oh, okay.
Is that different than murder? War crime is his own category, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, because I think in war, murder is generally accepted as something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that's a weird thing because we're saying murder is obviously like one of the biggest crimes you can commit, but in war crimes it doesn't inherently mean murder. It's usually something else.
Yeah, unless the two sides agree we're going to get together and murder each other.
Yeah, because that's
okay.
fair game, right? We didn't say anything about torture. That was when we crossed the line.
Yep.
Yeah, war is fun.
War is a drug. Take it from me, a guy who lies about being in the Vietnam War. War is not what it's cut out to be. With that in mind, a crime I have is stolen valor. I think that's
all right. That to me would be the worst crime you can commit is stolen valor for sure.
Right, for sure. Brian
it's
Williams. Bad. Yeah, it's not. You don't want to steal valor. That's up there for me.
I'm a little bit worried that a lot of our list is gonna overlap with our famous murders list because it is such a.
I was too, and I purposely left a bunch of them off there.
Yeah, I tried to leave as many off as I could.
So what I did, I just went through the top 10 most common crimes in the United States that are committed every day. And I kind of just from those made substacks of like various, like the strongest ones I thought per each crime, if that makes sense.
I like that.
I
try to get representation from a lot of different crimes too. So
right, because like the 10 worst murders would be worse than the worst burglary, right? Because death is
right.
Death, like war, is a drug. Take it from me. I served in Kuwait. So like one I had arson. Like 9/11 is a good example of arson.
Is that arson?
I don't know if 9/11.
I don't think it's arson.
It's a lot of things. Right? It's not just one crime. It's a multitude.
I agree.
There's
definitely some arson in that play.
Yes. Another one I had was the Scott Glenn in Backdraft. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. William Baldwin, great Chicago Fire movie. But Scott Glenn is the villain. This movie's 30 years old. But, when we're talking arson, that's what comes to mind.
All right. Well, this should be wildly interesting what our lists are going to
be. It's going to be fun. It's a good time right here.
We'll see what happens here. Richie, we like to start with our guest giving us their number one, and then we usually tell them how wrong they are and give our number one.
Yeah.
So if you like to go first, what's your number one crime of all time?
All right. So my number one crime of all time, as of right now, as I'm looking on my list, is I'm going to go with the Saddam Hussein Central Bank of Iraq heist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but how Saddam Hussein came to power was he robbed this bank. And I mean, you look at the way that influenced a lot of things, like that's a hell of a crime to get going, right? That puts a lot of today's world into the start. So I've got so tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys have that on your list too.
I don't have it on my list. I didn't know that was a thing.
No, me neither. But I do. I mean, love it though. Great answer.
I understand the domino effect for sure.
Right, because I'm like looking at like what really changed, and it's like Saddam Hussein famously robbed the Central Bank of Iraq at the time. It was like in the 70s for like $100 million, which was huge. And then that's a hell of a heist. This isn't your Ocean's 11, your Hussein 8. I don't know if that's what they called him. But that'll be number one to start. But I mean, where do we even? There's just so many good ones.
Yeah,
man, that I didn't even know that was a thing.
Same.
Yeah,
you stumped us on.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it was like, wow, you did some real deep diving into this one.
Well, you could say 9/11.
But
where does it all begin? Right, this bank robbery.
Yeah, but don't you think 9/11 was a bigger crime than a bank robbery?
Well, like I said, it's well, first off, 9/11. There's a lot of questions up in the air. What crimes were exactly committed? Who's responsible, right? I don't want to get it looking. I look like a guy that believes in the Building 7, but I do think 9/11 is a bigger crime per se. It's just there's a lot of sub crimes within that.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
I mean, 9/11 didn't make my list.
Yeah, me neither.
I also have 9/11 number one.
For obvious reasons.
You had 9/11 number one?
Yeah, dude.
I had
huge. So for me, okay, so when I was doing this too,
attack, though, it's not a crime.
For me, listen, yeah, that's true. But those people, for me, for it to be a crime, someone had to get convicted. Huh?
Those people? What do you mean?
No, I said those people. It slipped out, honestly. I have no idea what I was even referencing there. But
you mean the U.S. government?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't like, wow, look at this horrible crime that's happened to our country.
And very honestly, I just sort of omitted all acts of war.
I did too.
Okay.
I did too.
You know what I mean? Because I think
that's fair game.
I think that's more of an act of war, right? It started a war and all that.
Sure. I agree, but I mean, my thing was if I'm going to put it on the list, then it has to be number one. And
yeah,
right. So it's either not on the list at all, or it's number one.
I was thinking about the Holocaust too, and I was like, I don't think that's. I mean, obviously it's a crime, but I'm like, it's not a crime. You know what I mean?
Hammer like this.
Like, I'll be careful here to not say anything that's gonna be pulled out of context, but in terms of the top 10 crimes, yeah, I left 9/11 off. I left the Holocaust off.
Matt Lockwood, 9/11 and the Holocaust, not crimes.
Not the crime.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is a crime, and it's the goddamn decline of the city of Detroit and the way we've outsourced American jobs. That's a fucking crime right there.
It's coming back though. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I do have.
That was a crime.
I had my number one was O.J. Simpson.
That's my 2.
See, I left OJ off the list because we didn't get a conviction.
We didn't get a conviction. He's innocent.
That
Sorry,
doesn't mean it
that's
didn't
the
happen,
rules.
though.
Yeah,
No, for sure it was a murder, but like if there's no one to be attributed to the crime, you know what I mean?
That makes it a bigger crime, though.
My one, two in crime are 2 separate crimes that have been both called by the media as crimes of the century.
What's your number 2?
A Lindbergh Baby.
Okay. I had that.
That was my
Not
number
have-
3.
I had that a
Did
little
not
lower.
have that on my list. I always forget because I don't give a shit.
No, me neither.
Like that is so far removed from me. I don't give a flying fuck about that baby. How old's that baby today? 113? Fuck that.
Well, no, that baby never made it past 6 months. I think that was the whole point.
How
Yeah,
old
How
was
old's
that
that baby
baby
today? Same age it was when it was kidnapped.
yeah, and
Mark
murdered.
was younger than that baby. You know, there's worse things that have happened since that stupid fucking baby.
Oh, Jesus.
He was asking for it.
I have that lower too, just because it's not like I didn't learn about that kidnapping until we started doing the show, and then it comes up a lot. But
What's your number 1, Matt?
mine was JFK.
I have that on my list as well.
Yeah,
I don't,
had
but
I had that on my list, but I had it under motor vehicle crimes, which is another one of the top 10 crimes committed because I didn't want to do murder. So it's like an all-time car death, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think out of all, it's got to be one of the most famous assassinations of all time.
yeah.
I can't think of anyone that's more famous than that. Maybe Caesar, just because his story has lasted so long. But other than that, I think that's probably the most famous.
I mean, Lincoln's is still fairly big too. You know?
But we got to
I mean,
watch
True.
JFKs. You can see JFKs.
That's,
I've seen-
but
I've
we still
seen
don't
the-
know what happened. We've got
Yeah.
more conclusive
Well,
proof
it's-
from Lincoln's than we do from JFK's.
Well, I do want to
We
mention.
know it came from inside the car.
I do want to mention.
It was
this is the top-
Jackie.
This is the top 10 crimes, not top 10 solved crimes.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So then
Like,
that
that's-
puts OJ back into play.
Yeah, so
That
whether
does.
or not there's
Yeah,
a
for sure.
conviction or whether or not there's that we know what happened, it's still a crime that is pretty fairly accepted as a crime.
Well, if that's the case, then let's call it by its actual name. Then the murder of Nicole Simpson and the waiter guy.
But,
Thank you, Morgan.
and the waiter guy. Yeah,
Yeah, with Ron or something.
Ron
Ron
Goldman.
Goldman.
Ron Goldman.
Goldman.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Everyone jumped
actually
on that so
repped
quickly.
Ron Goldman.
Uh,
Okay, I've got just in that vein, just on the celebrity note, aggravated assault. I had the Chris Brown hitting Rihanna. I thought that was a big crime.
It's huge.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah,
that was
pretty
big.
famous. I like that.
I also had Mark Wahlberg beating up that Vietnamese dude. So it's like if we're gonna take aggravated assault, where we want to ping pong those. But I think Chris Brown's was that shook the world.
Yeah.
And he
Well, I
bounced
mean,
back.
yeah.
More than OJ did, though.
No.
No.
Yeah, we gotta get
you
a
know.
number 1 here.
We just
I mean,
gotta get a number 1. All right.
I like.
okay with
I
OJ.
like.
I like OJ.
I like OJ. The murder of Nicole Simpson.
Yes, the murder of Nicole Simpson. Yes,
The murder of Nicole Simpson.
that OJ definitely did not do, according to our justice system.
Because
Yeah,
there's nothing like it. It would be like if Tom Brady was also a movie star and then murdered his wife. That's the only thing that's any kind of comparable.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
agree
wild.
with that. And
He's got to be a bigger star than OJ was, even though he's a movie star, right?
I don't
OJ
think
was so good at football.
Really?
That's the thing. People don't
I
talk
think-
about OJ's football career. That's how big the murder was.
Yeah, I think OJ was Tom Brady famous when he did that.
And there's the
Yeah.
Well, okay, so if Tom Brady murdered Giselle, though, would people still talk about Tom Brady's football career?
not if it was like this. I mean,
It's not
it's
just
the people who
murder.
were alive when OJ was playing, though. They're the ones that have to talk about it, and they don't, because we never watched
Yeah.
him play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And people aren't going to show highlights of him, so you kind of have to go and find them yourself.
true.
Right.
It's a good point.
Right. They buried the man's existence as a professional athlete, and he was fantastic. You know, that's how big
Yeah.
of a
All
crime
time.
it was.
Top 10 in his position.
There's that famous
Yeah.
story that he auditioned to be the Terminator, and the people casting were like, "You're way too likable to ever be like. No one would ever believe you could kill somebody."
Little did they know.
He's like, "I'll prove
Famous
you wrong."
words.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe that was the catalyst.
Yeah.
maybe he's
He
just a
wanted that
great
role.
method actor. That's what he really is.
I'm okay with OJ number 1.
Method.
Yeah, we'll put
Or
it.
Nicole- the murder of
okay with
Nicole
OJ
Simpson.
Number 1. I'm okay with OJ number 1.
All right, that's our number 1 then. What is that?
So just
Now-
to be clear, it is not Saddam Hussein's bank heist.
No,
Oh, no,
Okay.
that's a good
Crime.
crime, though. I mean, I wish I knew more about it. I didn't even know he
Yeah,
did.
no.
Well,
That's for sure
I just
honorable
thought
mention.
Part of me feels like you might still be making it up.
I wrote the whole Wikipedia page.
Number Number 2, then. Let's talk number 2.
All right. Does anyone else want to go? I think I got a pretty good one.
Go.
Bernie Madoff.
Oh, damn. I didn't write that one down.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
This one's personal for me because he handicapped my favorite sports franchise for about 15 years.
Right.
The Mets were not able to spend money, and it was not great for me.
Yeah, it was
But
almost
also,
as
yeah,
bad
I mean,
as Benny Bagnani or whatever that guy's contract was.
Benny Agbayani. You're talking about Bobby Bonilla, though.
Bobby Bonilla.
This year. Actually, came out this morning. He's asking for it in Bitcoin now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Looking to the future.
Yeah.
I like Bernie Madoff on the list. I don't know if he's number 2.
I mean, I think it was a bigger crime than that Lindbergh baby.
I agree with that.
I agree with that as well. I mean, I think. Sorry. Because I think. So what I had at 3 was DB Cooper.
Yeah, I have DB Cooper.
Yeah, DB Cooper's. That's a great crime.
I mean, it's
the most
it's
badass crime.
Yeah, it's really badass. The fact that he got away with it, the fact that he jumped out of a plane. Like, there's so many things, and it's famous. It's famous. It's just a one-off. And the sort of big thing is nobody got hurt, really.
Yeah.
Perfect crime.
It's the perfect
No,
crime.
DB Cooper definitely would have been on my list if I was going with convictions. But yeah, DB Cooper for sure is up there.
And it's one of those crimes that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like captured our imagination. Because that's when you said crimes, that's the first person that popped in my head was DB Cooper.
Right.
First thing I wrote down was
Yeah.
DB Cooper.
It's whimsical. It's fun.
Yeah.
I may very well be him at this exact moment. So it's all that kind of.
It is sort of when people romanticize about being a criminal, it's that, right? It's I take a bunch of money, nobody gets hurt, I get away cleanly.
I jump out of a plane and die on impact.
Yeah, he's probably dead.
Robbers, yeah.
But
that's the
he
ultimate
probably
robber.
got caught and he exploded on impact and his body was just spread out so far amongst the Oregon forest that he's never been recovered. But hey, he also could have got away with it, so I'm in. I'm a glass half full guy when it comes to DB Cooper.
Everyone is. I think there's, if you're one of these people that are just like, oh no, he died, and that's your stance, then it's like, well, get a life, Like,
bro, let's have some fun with this, dude. Like,
How sad are you?
Yeah, believe that he got away.
Shooter in the book depository. Come on, have some fun, some pizzazz, some imagination.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like DB at 2.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. I do like Bernie Madoff. I think the problem with Bernie Madoff is if we're gonna not consider the Holocaust, it's like, that's probably the second worst thing that's happened to the Jewish population in the last 100 years. So it's kind of like it feels weird to put Bernie Madoff on there and just ignore the Holocaust. So I think DB Cooper fits the bill a little bit more, and I'm down with that.
Well said.
All right, we'll put him 2. I don't know how to respond to that.
Hey, you don't call me Richie the Riffer for nothing.
So do we like Madoff 3?
Well, number 3 on my list for worst crimes is Richie's outfit.
You mean Roy's?
Roy's outfit.
That's fair. I like it personally, and I guess I was gonna say my number 3 was Matt Lockwood at the Comedy Store because he's always killing. But since we're not exchanging compliments, I guess
No, you're right. Fuck Matt.
No, I meant Matt. I see Matt kill all the time. That's a crime. But because I had the confidence to come out here today with an Aquarius chain, I do understand that the feds could be busting in at any moment.
For my number 4, I had Watergate.
Yeah, I have Watergate up here too.
I didn't have Watergate on my list.
I didn't have it on my list.
You didn't have it on your list?
Dude, such a huge crime. The president.
He resigned. It feels like we just moved past it, honestly.
Did we? Or do we call every single scandal something gate?
Yeah, bro.
Did we move past it, or do we have every single scandal that ever happens is something gate?
Deflate gate.
I guess that is annoying. But I don't inherently think that deserves it, but you're right. It is a tentpole crime.
Culturally, it's a tentpole crime.
For sure, it's huge.
Right. Whether I actually think it was that big in hindsight, no. But what it means, I think, to the criminal legacy, I understand.
And it was like it's essentially Nixon assassinated himself.
Right. Self shot. I had every carjacking ever in Grand Theft Auto. Just like the metaverse is coming on so hot that every crime that's ever been committed in a video game, I want to just as a singular one, because I think that's prevented a lot of crimes from being committed in real life.
I actually don't mind
we're literally at trillions of carjackings now too.
Trillions
in the GTA universe.
Yeah, I literally don't mind that. I think 4 might be a little high for us to talk about that.
Yes.
I want to get it out there. I want to kind of circulate at this point.
Well, we're at 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do think also something that could be mentioned here is the Boston Globe Catholic priest scandal.
Oh, Spotlight,
the Catholic priest scandal. I think that's pretty huge. If we want to talk about, it's like Watergate for the Pope. It caused the Pope to resign.
Yeah, I'd actually argue that was a bigger scandal than the.
Well, it's a huge scandal.
Watergate feels like a bigger scandal than Watergate to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Really?
Yeah. It affects everyone. I mean, it's part of the big thing. Ireland used to be this big Catholic nation. That's a famously Catholic. And then after the Catholic priest scandal, there are more atheists in Ireland than there are, I think, hardcore Catholics now. It completely shook the foundations of like religion in countries.
Bro, the Pope had to resign.
Pope had to resign.
Who's more powerful, the Pope or the American president?
I mean,
historically
the Pope.
How about since the 1960s?
Yeah, the president.
But I mean,
Who was more powerful
really
when they were taken down, Richard Nixon or the Pope?
The Pope. No, you're talking about. Think about this. The Pope is the Pope. The current Pope, the cool Pope, was directly involved in shuffling all the pedophile priests around. It's like, bro, this is like, as far as things that go all the way to the top, this for sure goes all the way to the top.
Yeah.
This touches the guy who's communicating directly with God.
Choice of words.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit that, it's funny. It's crimes that have affected my life. I would probably say that has affected my life more than Watergate. But what do we even call that? Is it Pope Gate? It even has a gate. Kind of does put Watergate back into play.
Yeah, I mean, I think Watergate will end up being top 5. Yeah, I didn't even think about this one though. Whatever we call it.
Sandusky, just for the record, I know that's not as big as the Catholic Church, but look, that fucking ruined Penn State's program. Catholic Church.
That shook me to my core way more than the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that I would say the same. I don't know why.
In college football, the most purest thing on earth.
Joe Pa, great Catholic too, but I guess it's trickle down, right? Because he was so it probably is the church.
Joe Pa learned how to cover stuff up from a young age.
Yeah, that'll be my vote.
I think Sandusky's an honorable mention because I think this is going to take the
that
Irish
category.
Yeah.
Yeah,
again, nothing has to do with the Irish here. Just we just happen to be Catholic. We are in no way the rapists. Again, it's not inherently Catholic. There's plenty of Italians that got assaulted. There's plenty of other people that got assaulted. All right, everyone just keep
nice
quiet.
Little French boys.
Do you know how big the Catholic Church is? Okay,
and the scale of the crime is just insane. I mean, you guys have seen Spotlight, right? At the end, where they list all the cities in just America alone where they've had to shuffle around priests. It's insane. I mean, it's got to be one of the largest, if not the largest, human trafficking sort of crime of all time. If you're shuffling perpetrators across state lines like that, it's I can't think of anything bigger.
Well, teachers unions, but outside of that, I think.
So is it number 3 then?
I think so.
Over JFK and Watergate?
JFK.
Yeah.
It might not be over JFK.
I think it's over Watergate for sure.
JFK was a Catholic. his religion ultimately is what carried him. So I think you got to go religion over the person, probably the institution. Catholic Church is still around. JFK is not.
Yeah, that's the thing is the Catholic Church is still doing it today. That's what kind of makes it wild. It's like a continually happening crime right now.
That's how big the crime was too. Is that people exposed it and tried to shut it down, and you can't even do it.
I'd like to think it's not happening to the scale at which.
Yeah, we all like to think that, but
yeah.
Morgan and I are Catholic institutes that have, it makes me a little insecure that I was never supported.
I know, bro. So I mean, all right. So when I was I want to say 6th grade, maybe, we had all these priests come to our school, and they had this after-school program where a bunch of kids would go to. So it was all a bunch of kids from my school, and then I think it was a bunch of Mexican kids from Port Chester. And always halfway through the afternoon sessions, we would go do one thing and they would go do another. And I'm thinking, were they assaulting the poor kids?
I mean, that's if you're gonna do that, you definitely want to do it to the poor kids. They have less options.
Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't us.
Yeah.
My friend was a pretty big lawyer in New York State.
I watched Spotlight with Derek, who went to a Catholic school, and after the movie, he just goes, "Oh, so that's why there were always new priests at school constantly. They would always be shuffling priests in and out of his school." It's bro, that shit is it's insane.
I didn't know Derek went to Catholic school too, but that explains so much now.
Yeah, I mean, shattering religion is pretty significant. I had honestly, now that we're talking about this, think this deserves even higher. So I think it's a firm 3, and we should move to JFK and or Watergate, which again, JFK.
What do we call this on the list?
The Catholic priest scandal. I think everyone will know exactly what that means.
Spotlight.
Yeah, I was gonna say put Spotlight and then parentheses 2016 or whatever it came out.
just put Spotlight. I think people understand.
Spotlight like a winky emoji,
Put it together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. What is the technical Wikipedia article for it? Is the Catholic Archdiocese of Boston sex abuse scandal?
Okay, we don't have that much room on the list.
Yeah.
The CABSAS, but hey.
Also, tough look that Boston got stuck with that. They had to eat that.
Yeah.
Well, that really was a worldwide thing, but Boston's going to be associated with it.
Well, yeah. Well, the Boston Globe is the only one that had the balls to
True. Yeah,
investigate it.
Yeah.
All right. 4 and 5. You want to talk about JFK Watergate? I also at number 3.
Let's talk about Dr. Fauci lying to the public, though.
Yeah.
Jesus. At number 3 on my list, I had Columbine.
I'd Columbine at 6.
Okay.
I had Columbine on the list, but it dropped to honorable mention.
I did not have any shootings because Columbine, I guess, is the one that kind of started it all. But
I had it on the list.
If you're going through the greatest hits, it's where do you even, it's Sandy Hook's definitely that had the emotional, right? That was the reboot. It's just, I think that I didn't have any on my list. Those are just so objectively horrible compared to everything else that I don't even want to.
Yeah.
It's again, are they all murder? That's what I mean. If right, I don't think Columbine. I don't think the Watergate is worse than Columbine. So,
it's not worse. It's what's more iconic. What's more
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But is Columbine? I guess is iconic. It's not. Is
For
it?
Sure. It's absolutely iconic.
I guess I also another one I had on my list was Jonestown. The Jonestown massacre. I did not realize the scale to which this happened in Guyana, but I watched a documentary recently about cults and saw in depth about that, and it's really fucked. You just had hundreds of people commit suicide.
It was 900 people plus they murdered an active U.S. senator. That's
crazy. It's actually one that I don't think people talk about enough in terms of how fucking crazy it is. Columbine's over talked about versus what Jonestown was.
Well, the thing about
900 people.
The thing about Jonestown is Jonestown would be talked about like Columbine if there was a bunch of follow-up cults killing themselves in the same way. I think what makes Columbine more iconic is that it marked a shift in kids get shot at school, and that's we're okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just gonna roll the dice, baby. Go get that education. you know, you got to die for this education. That is a good point. But
also,
I don't know.
I struggle to include Jonestown because it was a bunch of people killing themselves. It's not really what's the crime.
Yeah.
Suicide's a crime.
Gullibility.
Suicide is against the law. Like, it's against the law to kill yourself. I mean, if you pull it off, who's going to get you? You know, even one more reason to go through with it. But it is a crime.
But if
that's
you try to kill yourself and don't succeed, they don't put you in jail.
No, they put you in, but they put you in psychological evaluation, which is their version of, which is the mental health version of jail.
You're for sure on some version of probation.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you it depends on how you do it too. Like, if you jump off a bridge and fuck it up, you know, you've caused traffic delays, etc. That's a crime. I don't think it makes our list, but I don't know. Jonestown's nuts. I think Jonestown, like, the fact that Jonestown could happen again, you know, and cultism is certainly not going anywhere, right? I don't know. Jonestown to me stands out because Columbine, like, yes, it is the pinnacle school shooting, even though there was like Kent State, and you could just keep going back and like finding, like, there was that shooter in Austin in the bell tower at the University of Texas in the 60s. You know, I mean, there's always been kind of like public displays of violence. That's what makes Jonestown to me so frightening, is that it was such a manipulative thing. You really hadn't seen it in hundreds and hundreds of years since like ancient religion. And it happened because some fucking guy named Jim from Alabama or wherever just was able to convince a ton of people to upright move their lives and drink cyanide. You know?
Yeah, I think Jonestown is classified as a mass murder.
That would be a crime then, yeah.
But you did say,
I mean, you're really letting these people off the hook.
You did say it's not.
We got no agency.
It's not talked about as much as Columbine and Watergate, which kind of.
That is true, and I think Columbine and Watergate both are above Jonestown, if Jonestown even makes the list. But I think so. We're at 4 right now, right?
4, yeah.
So I think it is between Watergate and the JFK assassination.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd go JFK then.
I think JFK is.
I mean, it's the only. I feel like it's the only murder that we've seen multiple times.
Yeah.
We'll keep seeing every single year.
Yeah.
I get up.
Because Rovell tweets it out early in the morning.
Every morning. That's how I start my day. I just watch the Saddam. But no, JFK is iconic. I mean, who are we kidding? You know, yeah. It's gonna be over Watergate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we put Watergate 5 then?
I mean, I still want to talk about Madoff.
I think Watergate's bigger than Madoff, though.
That dude stole $68 billion.
I think the crime is
or 64.
worse. I think Bernie Madoff's crime is worse. I think Watergate is more culturally iconic.
Yeah, but the thing about Bernie Madoff is people will eventually it's stopped getting talked about because the system has what's the word I'm looking for? They want it to not be talked about because like everything that happened in 2008. I actually had that in my honorable mention. It's just the 2008 financial crisis. That whole thing was a crime. That the banks stole all that money from us, and nothing happened to them. And that falls into that zone, so no one really talks about it. Watergate, on the other hand, I mean, you know, it's Watergate.
Everyone knows what it is.
People don't even know it's a hotel. Like, people just know the scandal name.
Yeah. And it is now the term we use for every other scandal that's ever going to come up for the rest of history.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like, it's overused. It's annoying how iconic it is.
Agreed.
Can't argue with that.
That's why I think it should be top 5. That's my argument.
Let's do
You're
it.
not wrong. Put it on there. Put it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it moving down if we get something else, but... cool, there's our top 5 for now, then.
Dang.
All right, now it gets interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to talk about Columbine here, then.
I want to see your Columbine and raise you the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, I like that one, too.
Ooh.
I have that at 7.
I mean, I'm older than everyone here, I think, by a little bit, but Timothy McVeigh was like the first bad guy I remember as like a child.
Do we want to loop this in? Because a lot of times the way history kind of does this is it's like Ruby Ridge, Waco, Texas, and then in response was Oklahoma City. So it's kind of like that triumvirate of a crime moment, I think, is really significant. Because this way you get Waco in, we're touching a little bit on the cult life. Ruby Ridge is all about like property theft, and then it's like it all led to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, his was just such a big scale by himself. He was like a former veteran.
He actually had a helper. His name was Terry Nichols. I didn't know that until right now, though.
Terry, baby.
Killed a bunch of children.
Yeah.
What did he do? He killed almost 200 people?
168 people died, 680 injured, and he destroyed 1/3 of a building. The rest had to be demolished.
Those are numbers. For a lone wolf, those are numbers.
Yeah.
One attack. I mean, he was definitely when I was a kid. It was a very famous. Timothy McVeigh was a famous name, and he sort of because if we want to represent these sort of lone wolves that go against the government, which is definitely a type of criminal. You have the Unabomber. You have that Christopher Dorner guy. Yep. Timothy McVeigh is definitely, I think, the most successful.
Yep, most famous.
I think it's probably in terms of fame. I think him and the Unabomber are pretty similar.
I thought he was the Unabomber.
Yeah, but he showed up. He was boots on the ground. The Unabomber, he's sitting in some Montana mailing out packages. Like McVeigh is a guy that gets out there, gets on his feet, and gets the job done A to Z. So I mean, he's always going to be the winner in my case.
He's also like a hero to white supremacists.
Yeah,
which my friend told me.
How do you know
I didn't know that. My friend told me.
Which is so interesting. Like, if you support, like, that guy was not a big fan of the cops, and it feels like white supremacists are more pro-cop. So it's a very famous thing. It's a very funny thing to
pro-cop because they think the cops are on their team. But we saw how they feel about the cops about a year ago.
I watched a White Power movie last night, so I'm very in that mindset.
They do a little research, or
talk about Timothy McVeigh a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Daniel Radcliffe is like an FBI agent who goes undercover into a white supremacist.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
It's okay. It's a decent movie.
All right.
I like Oklahoma City here.
All right. I like it here too. Boys?
Hell yeah.
I'm with it.
Oops. Timothy McVeigh, right?
Yeah.
All right, 4 spots left. I'd like to propose one that's kind of a little different than all these other ones. But I have Bill Cosby here.
I had him at 9. He definitely got to be on the list, bro.
I think so too.
In terms of individual sexual assaults, the numbers are just too big.
Numbers and like to take down a guy like that, like a cultural hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he deserves a spot on this list.
I mean, I had a couple ahead of him, but yeah, he's on there for me.
I like Bill Cosby here.
Yeah, it's just I wonder if it's like, well, if it's we have is it Bill Cosby, is it Epstein, is it like if the category is sexual assault and rape, it's like, do we really got to go through now and be like, who are the greatest rapists of all time? Like, that's a question,
because
Nero was a famous rapist. I think
not as famous as Bill Cosby.
That's true. He didn't have his own show.
I wrote down Cosby. I wrote down R. Kelly. I wrote down Michael Jackson. I wrote down Chris Brown. I think Bill Cosby is the representation for celebrity assault.
Yeah, because the shift. That's what made Bill Cosby so fucking crazy, is the shift from what he was to what he is.
America's
Is
dad.
he out now?
Yes, he's out.
Yeah.
He's out on a technicality because our justice system is awesome.
He's doing a spot at the store later.
Yeah. He's back, but Dalia's not.
Yeah, he's in the belly room.
Yeah,
that was my next one.
But
it's like you don't really get the R. Kelly conviction without Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm. And I think in terms of like big social movements of the past 20 years, the Me Too movement was huge, and I think that is the culmination of like, of that movement of like, damn, they they got a guy. They got a huge guy, and who deserves to be
18
got.
months, they got his ass.
It was like Cosby,
Yeah.
Cosby and Weinstein, I think, were the two big ones.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it really Me Too? Is that kind of the crime here that we're looking at? Because like Weinstein's still in jail. You know, he's still serving time. Cosby's hanging out. He's not even divorced.
Yeah, but it showed like the population that they could take down icons if they come together. And I mean, it really was like Weinstein might have a bigger punishment, but it's like Cosby was a bigger hero to people. Weinstein was just some scumbag sitting behind the desk that people had seen his name before, but nobody really knew who he was.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the power aspect. But then if that's the case, it's, you know, like I wonder, is the Clinton impeachment Lewinsky blowjob in terms of like what it did to a person in a power position of like of an act of sexual aggression? Like I know volume wise, it's very obvious that Bill Cosby probably committed up there with the most in terms of prominent people that we know of. But like Bill Clinton was the president of the United States. That crime was huge. It got its own American or whatever crime story.
People aren't against Bill Clinton.
Also, I don't know if that technically is that technically a crime? The crime was that he lied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it was
was
perjury.
the crime.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't so much the blowjob itself.
If blowjobs are a crime, then put me in jail.
You're okay, bud.
Yeah, Bill Cosby. Let's take him down. Fuck it.
I just think in terms of
I feel like
celebrities,
Simmons a bit high though.
what goes above
No.
So I mean, above him, I had Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.
you? I don't think so. I think
I had
Cosby's
Bob
better.
Durst.
I had Enron.
That's
Alright.
not a bad
Fun.
one. Over Bill
I also
Cosby,
feel
I
like
like.
looking at Enron could probably be honorable mention, but
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I just the shift from good guy to bad guy
Yeah.
no, for sure.
is pretty.
I agree with
It's like O.J. Simpson level shift of
No,
everyone.
he
loved this guy.
went from best guy to terrible person.
He went from
It's-
America's dad. That was his nickname. America's dad.
Yeah.
To America's uncle. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
Bill Cosby's sexual proclivity left us fatherless. America's uncle.
I'm good with that.
I mean, if we think of something else that could go above him, we could put him above him, but I kind of like him here.
I'm okay with that.
Can we run through the list again?
Yeah. So number one is the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and the waitress. Number 2 is D.B. Cooper. 3 is the Catholic priest scandal. 4 is JFK. 5 is Watergate. 6 is Timothy McVeigh. 7 is Bill Cosby.
Okay. Interesting. I think I had the Manson family on my list.
I had them at 5.
I'd
But I'd rather Jonestown in terms of cult activity. I still think Jonestown. I only say this because I think when you look into it, you're just gonna be like, "What the fuck? This is crazy." Like if Jonestown happened today in the Twitter age, we would never stop talking about it for forever. And I don't think
For
we're
2
that,
weeks.
I don't think we're that far from having it. Like what happened? You know, we have such like zealot kind of people that are part of society now. We have these kind of like cults growing constantly. Like I think Jonestown should be a friendly reminder that it can happen again. You know, because Manson, it's like, yeah, he's got a little ranch. They're all taking acid. Go kill some actor. Who gives a fuck? But Jonestown, it's like they booked flights. You know, like people move their lives. There's a lot of moving pieces to this crime.
They were legitimately brainwashed. There was brainwashing happening and all that stuff. And I do like Jonestown being on this list.
Me too. But we would talk about it for 2 weeks, then someone would say they want to fuck Skittles, and then we'd stop talking about it.
Yeah, you're
immediately.
overestimating the attention span of the American public.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be
Oh,
a
2
news
weeks.
story for sure, but then it wouldn't
2
anymore.
weeks. I mean, you're giving me 2 weeks. That's an eternity these days. I'll take
No,
it.
you're right. You're right. Yeah. 2 weeks is a long time.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin shot someone in the face, and we haven't spoken about it in a month. That's how crazy.
No. I talked about that night only.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, think about how long did we talk about Sandy Hook, as tragic and as awful as that was. It
I
comes
got
up,
a good run. I got a good run though.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, for how tragic it was,
Right.
They
it
Sandy
should
Hook
be on
got
the
a month.
forefront of everybody's mind.
Should be.
I do think at 8. I still think Columbine should be a little bit ahead of Jonestown.
Yeah.
Just in terms of iconicness and the sort of chain reaction of events that it started. I mean, we've all. I mean, I don't know. about Richie, but at least I know the three of us have had to go through active shooter training.
Oh yeah, no,
I never did that.
You never did that? You weren't
No.
at the store. You weren't at the store when we had active shooter training.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was thinking about
Yeah.
in school. My bad. You're right.
First of all, I did it every year in school, but I know I was at the age where it's kind of like it was 50-50 on whether or not you did it. But
Yeah. Sorry.
now for
No,
sure they all
right.
do it in school. But I know as an adult we've done it.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, every time, like, you have a thought in the back of your head that every time you're in, like, a crowded place, like when we went to that music festival, once in a while, I'd be like, oh, I hope it doesn't get shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was in a movie theater by myself. It was just me and another guy, and I was like, I hope this guy doesn't shoot me.
Yeah, I don't watch.
You had a gun too. You're like
You had to be a good guy with a gun.
that's the argument. That's the pro gun argument. It's like, I hope this guy doesn't shoot me, but if he tries to, I'm ready to shoot him. It's like, how about nobody shoots anyone?
Yeah. It's like the idea. The funny thing is, if everyone has a gun, then they don't know who the real shooter is, right? So then you're the shooter. So it just sort of becomes like this Mexican shootout where everyone's just shooting each other.
Smart.
But no, I don't go and watch big premiere movies. Like I don't go to midnight premieres anymore. I'll wait till like the morning of like the Monday and I'll go. Like it definitely changes the way we thought of just being in public space.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. I like it here.
Mm-hmm. I think it deserves to be here.
Okay. The next one I had was the American Dream, because what a fucking crime it was to buy into that. Am I right?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna
pretty well, to be honest.
I'm gonna propose this for 9 and 10. I want to propose Jamestown, then Madoff. Oh, sorry, Jonestown, then Madoff. Sorry, I said Jamestown. Jamestown was mad chill. Jonestown was the best.
A lot of slaves in Jamestown, for being honest.
Yeah. Technically was not a crime. Was very legal.
True.
Yeah.
That was just good old American commerce.
Yeah. But I do think I do want to propose that for 9-10. Jonestown, Madoff.
All right. But then let's talk real quick because we're not including the Lindbergh kidnapping.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'm over that.
All right.
I'm over that.
Thank you. We can put that honorable mention.
I kind of have a selfish one at number 10 that I wanted to include.
I have a selfish one at 10 also.
What?
Mine's Lenny Bruce.
Mm.
The reason comics are free to say whatever they want to say.
Yeah. But doesn't that feel... He won, though, right?
Yeah, but he was arrested. That's the whole point. He committed a crime.
Yeah, but if he was innocent, then no crime was committed.
No, because there was like a whole... I mean, it was a crime when he did it.
Charged him, yeah.
They changed the law.
Rosa Parks is a big one, too. She was...
Who's that?
Damn,
That
that
was
is
a
a
hell-
big one. That is
criminal.
a big one.
That's a huge one that we are definitely overlooking, and I think we have to evaluate the list.
I think we actually have to be like. I think that's probably.
Boys?
I think that's probably above.
Guy Fieri fucking figured it out.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been to Rosa Park.
Yeah. I think Rosa Parks is above Timothy McVeigh
Yeah.
in terms of iconic crime committed.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's got to be, it's going to be the only one on the list where everyone was like, she was right.
Right.
Not everyone.
Right. Like it's
Yeah.
You're giving people a lot of credit to say everyone.
Yeah. In fact, there's a big portion of the population that was like, no, she was definitely wrong.
How about this? Everyone in this Discord meeting right now will agree that she was right.
Well, yeah. I think also that's something to think about is people where the attention that the crime brought changed the nature of the laws.
Yeah. For sure.
So that's always an interesting one. What was William Randolph Hearst made hemp criminal because he paid senators tons of money to make hemp and weed. Like that's how weed is illegal, is literally because someone wanted to change the law on their hemp paper. So it's like the ways that laws can be changed from crime too is interesting. That was a weird one-off, but Rosa Parks, yeah.
That's a good. I didn't even because it's so ingrained in us that what she did was like the right thing to do that we forget that it was actually a crime that she committed. She did commit a crime.
Right. He's a criminal.
One of the more famous criminals.
He's got
Famous
a record.
criminals. Bin Laden, Parks,
Yeah.
OJ.
The crazy thing about Rosa Parks too is like originally when they planned it, it was supposed to be a darker skinned woman, but then they're like, she's not going to garner enough sympathy from the American public, so we have to make her this light skinned woman.
Politics, baby.
Yeah, it's everything is politics. But yeah, I think Rosa Parks should go. I mean,
You think
quite
6?
possibly over Watergate, even.
Yeah,
I disagree. I'd put it at 6.
I'm also fine with it above Mcveigh. I'm also fine with it at 6.
I agree with you guys. I was thinking Rodney King too. He's a pretty big criminal. You know,
I
like in terms of what changed, crime
Thing.
committed. Like in theory, you know,
You're not wrong. In theory, he is a criminal.
right. Is DUI the Rodney King DUI?
the Rodney
is one
King
hell of a
DUI. Oh goddamn! I'm so happy I don't tell my mom to watch this.
How mad would people get if we just put George Floyd at 10?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
What
Yeah,
was
thank
George
God.
What was he arrested for? Like, what was it? It's something so ridiculous, right? Like even the
Selling
crime-
cigarettes or counterfeit money or something like that. It was
selling-
Courtney.
Selling cigarettes is Eric Adams.
Yeah,
Eric
yeah.
Adams,
No, not
Yeah.
Eric Adams.
the mayor
Not
of
Eric
New York.
Adams.
No,
Yeah.
not Eric. Eric someone.
Garner.
Eric Gardner.
Eric Garner, yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Gardner. Yeah. So selling Lucy, Eric Gardner, that was a hell of a crime.
It's hard to remember all the names of the people brutally murdered by the police.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
a little. It
It's
gets
confusing after a while.
Which also, I mean,
The
you get
initial
arrested
crimes.
for stealing Lucy's in New York City. That's a crime in itself. Whoever those cops were. That's like the most New York thing ever, is to sell loose cigarettes.
Who gives a shit? Right. It's
I don't think they
unbelievable.
cared
Yeah.
about the cigarettes, to be honest.
Yeah,
Oh,
they had it.
you know,
If I had to guess, I think there
But,
was other stuff.
some ulterior motive.
Maybe there is a composite here of like the minor crimes committed by people of color that ultimately related
lead to their
and the
death.
serious crimes committed by the police. Right? You know, I meant, look, it's a minor crime. I'm not saying it's not a crime, but it leads, like Rosa Parks, criminal. You know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's not how
Yeah.
I look at them.
So we want.
I mean,
we want to put her at 6. Is that what we're doing?
yeah.
I'll go
I
6.
think so.
I mean, what does make Rosa Parks famous is that she committed a crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Damn, that's such a good answer. I didn't even think about that. That
Yeah,
was
me
a
neither.
great drop.
All right, we got one spot left. We have Jonestown. We have Bernie Madoff.
Matthew Broderick hitting that guy with his car.
I don't think people even care.
Menendez family. I just want to rattle some other
Menendez
ones. I
family,
had
Manson
down.
family, DC snipers.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
That was scary.
this
for a
one
week.
might be honorable mention, but we gotta talk about Mike Vick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was my
Giants
number
game.
10.
That
Yeah.
Giants game when they came back down 3 scores in the 4th, that was a fucking crime.
Yeah.
Talk about it, Richie.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Vick, man. Criminal. Criminal how fast he was on his legs, am I right?
Well, Mike Vick also just like for the fact of the redemption story, how he came out of jail a way better person, kind of redeemed himself, went back to playing in the NFL. I don't think. Well, a lot of people still look at him as like an evil fuck, but I don't know. I think the majority of Americans just like, yeah, the guy made a mistake.
Kyle has a fun
Yeah,
point. Kyle said
What do you say?
Al Capone being arrested for tax evasion. Like when they get big leaders for little crimes.
Yeah,
Right. Which is like it's kind of like the perjury thing with Bill Clinton, kind of where
Yeah.
you know it doesn't.
And
We all know
and
what it represents.
OJ Simpson.
I think I think I agree here with Morgan and Kyle. He said in the chat, it's kind of has to be Madoff, right? Who's stolen more money ever?
yeah, that's true.
White people.
Yeah, he stole so much money.
Yeah, but what singular person has stolen more money?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. I was gonna say it's kind of crazy that there's no big robberies on this list, like no famous heists or whatever. But I guess Bernie Madoff would be the big
Yeah.
robbery.
You mean
I mean,
the Saddam
Diamond
Hussein?
Heist.
the Saddam Hussein central bank heist.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. My number one, because that's where I thought this was heading.
Yeah, he defrauded investors of a possible, because including the profits he said he would make, $65 billion.
Yeah.
He got life in jail for robbing.
Yeah.
Multiple lifetimes in jail for. Is he alive? No, he's dead, right? Is
Good
he
question.
alive?
I don't know.
Is he alive?
Dead to us.
Bernie Madoff, alive or dead? He is dead. He died actually last year in April. Oh, that's a shame.
COVID?
Chronic kidney disease.
Damn.
Oh well. Yeah, I think Bernie Madoff's a big one. People don't realize that. It also kind of, his son killed himself after that. It caused it spiraled to a lot of different other, the amount of.
Didn't the Mets owner kill himself as well?
If only.
Yeah, please. Please.
All right, chill.
Can't stand those fucking guys.
Just ask them to resign.
Fucking
You don't have to ask them
Wilpots.
to kill themselves. That's a crime.
Oh, they sold the team. They sold
You
the
don't
team.
know
Uncle
New York
Steve is,
sports.
yeah. You don't know my pain.
You don't know shit about the 2006 NLCS.
Oh, fucking Beltran. Right down the
Look at
pipe.
that, Beltran.
I'm still upset about it.
That's a crime.
I think that's why Madoff was my number 2.
Yeah.
This team has cost me over the years.
Let's
sure.
defect. Beltran looking at a hanging curveball on 3-2 with the
Oh,
baby
God.
All right,
Bernie
that's our
works.
top 10 then. If Madoff goes 10.
I think it's a solid top 10. I'm looking at it right now. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. All right, let's add some honorable mentions. Jonestown will go first.
Yeah.
I think we should add Jimmy.
Center.
The murder of Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah, the murder of Jimmy Hoffa. I think that should be an honorable mention, or the disappearance of, because it's one of the more famous disappeared.
Well, he's buried in the Meadowlands. Everyone knows that.
I'll put Lindbergh on here.
What
What about the Great Train Robbery? Did you guys read about that?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Read about it, but saw it. I didn't go any further into it.
I'll put DC.
Well, we can put honorable mentions for name alone.
Tupac Biggie murders.
Yep, I had that. Let's do the every jacking and every crime ever committed in Grand Theft Auto.
DC snipers. Oh yeah, every Grand Theft Auto, robbery.
Every mission in Grand Theft Auto.
We gonna put Mike Vick?
That is the biggest selling point of Grand Theft Auto, is that you can just do the most heinous crimes.
Commit crime.
You can get away with all of it.
Ocean's 11, the Italian Job.
Ocean's 11. Did you say Mike Vick?
Oh, Mike Vick.
Mike Vick, yeah.
No, he wrote down Mike Vick.
A
Vin.
San Diego comic.
A San Diego comic.
The guy crushes. The guy kills.
Oh god.
One other one I had. I don't know if you guys remember this, and again, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the scale of which the crime was committed. A man named Richard Russell, who worked as a tarmac guy in Alaska in 2011, stole a commercial plane. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Yeah.
He stole
The guy that killed himself?
I don't know if he killed. Oh no, that would be a bummer.
he
if
landed
did.
it.
I thought he landed it and just got arrested.
Yeah.
And his grandfather was like a governor. Hold on one second. Yeah. Oh wait, no, he crashed it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he crashed it on purpose. It was like his way of killing himself.
It'd be a sick way to
Okay,
kill
well,
yourself.
that's a
Yeah, it's fucking metal as fuck.
That is pretty
that's
metal,
a
I'll give you
sick
that.
way to go.
We should do top 10 suicides.
I meant suicide. Yeah, that's like, because I was thinking that too. Like, taking drugs that are illegal is against the law, and like Jimi Hendrix, that was against the law. That was a pretty bad.
I say we just
crime.
put Jerry Garcia number 1.
Possession is against the law, though.
So is consumption.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Kyle has another good point. He said every kid that downloaded Life of Pablo on Pirate Bay during the week when it was a title exclusive. But I also think we just need to talk about everybody who downloaded anything off of Napster and LimeWire and all that shit.
Yeah, that's a good one. The DUI that killed my uncle. That's a big one for me. I'm named after him, so I wouldn't have my name without it. So that crime to me personally, Morgan, that one landed. Chris Brown hitting Rihanna, I still think should be on there.
I think that should be on there too. Honorable mention for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uncle Roy.
Shout out to Uncle Roy.
All right, I think that's good.
I think this is a good list.
One last honorable mention: all the incest porn that happens in these porn videos. You just see every video on the porn websites now is of incest. So those people are committing crimes every day.
But that's not they're not actually. They're actually, yeah. That's all acting.
Buddy.
That we
Wait,
gotta,
really?
Yeah. That we gotta pretend that.
It's not real. It's just acting.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know it seems so real because of the great dialogue they have, but
Yeah.
You mean
Chemistry
to
is
tell me?
unmatched.
You mean to tell me that that's all fake?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep.
Well, then that's a crime.
In itself.
Yeah, kind of.
That's a crime. Oh, are there any good porn crimes? Oh,
Yeah, that one guy.
Okay,
Subway,
we're out of room.
Jared Subway.
Oh,
Jared
yeah,
Fogle?
Jared from Subway.
Fuck, you put Jared on there.
Oh, he should.
We're out
be
of
on
room
the
though for.
list. Damn.
Wait, I wouldn't take anybody off for Jared though.
Sandusky. I
I'm
mean, I
taking
guess
a great
that's
train
like,
robbery off.
Wow, DB Cooper, number 2. Good for him.
3,
Yeah.
right? Or 2?
2.
At least 2.
2. Nice. Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to DB.
thanks, guys.
Jared from Subway will be the guy on the picture of the list.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
All right. Cool. That's the show. That's our list. We can run down them real quick. Number 1, the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Number 2, DB Cooper. 3, the Catholic priest scandal. 4, the JFK assassination. 5, Watergate. Wow, if Watergate happened before Watergate, they'd call it Watergate Gate. Number 6, Rosa Parks. Number 7, Timothy McVeigh. Number 8, Bill Cosby. Number 9, Columbine. And number 10, Bernie Madoff.
I like that list.
Like
Good
it.
list. Tight.
Solid. What are the honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions: Jonestown, Jimmy Hoffa, Lindbergh kidnapping, Lenny Bruce, DC snipers, Jared from Subway, all the crimes committed in Grand Theft Auto, Jerry Sandusky, Mike Vick, and Chris Brown. A lot of celebrities.
A lot of celebrities. So Manson doesn't make it at all.
I mean, if we can fit him, we'll put him on there.
All right.
You should do a half and half of Jared Fogle and Charles Manson.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find pictures that work.
Charles Fogle. Yeah, that's a really funny.
Or just Jared Fogle with the cross on his, or whatever.
Yeah.
What is it? A swastika on his forehead.
Or Charles Manson eating a Subway sandwich.
Yeah, I'll scour the internet and look for some good pictures.
Charles Manson is still alive or dead?
Dead.
He's dead.
Recently.
2017. Yeah.
No,
Recently dead.
pre-COVID.
Got married.
And we're not putting Bobby Bonilla's contract as a crime of the century. Okay.
No, again. At this point, with how much you guys have talked about it, any bad thing that happens to the Mets, I'm happy for.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy your 2015 runners-up trophy.
The sign.
Yeah.
That playoffs is one of the highlights of my sports life.
I know. It's
Much fun.
It's very rough to be a New York sports fan. Not really. You have 2 Super Bowls. You guys can go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, and I could always have just been a Yankees fan, but I chose this life.
All right, I'm ending this.